Welcome back to Inside Medical Malpractice, where today we're talking to Nashville attorney Randy Kinnard. If you haven't heard the longer podcast talking about where Randy talks about his practice, some of his large jury trials and significant awards, his history of his time in Vietnam, and offering some really solid advice to attorneys and to healthcare providers and to the public on medical malpractice, the things we need to know about medical malpractice. Just don't miss it. It's a great podcast. But we're back here now to talk about Randy Kinnard, the man, because he's not only a very accomplished and busy attorney, he also seems to be a very accomplished and busy human being outside of the practice of law. When I looked up on his website and talked to Randy a little bit about what he does when he's not busy lawyering, he's very involved in the community and with some volunteer associations. He serves as a volunteer for the Alive Hospice, residing on the Quality Council for that organization. He's a board member of Centerstone, a nonprofit organization that helps more than 40,000 individuals with mental illness. He supports the Legal Aid Society of Middle Tennessee in the Cumberlands. He's a board member on his church. He's a dedicated Sunday school teacher, a scout leader. He's very involved with an organization called PCAT, which is Prevent Child Abuse in Tennessee. And he's also the author of a book called Respect Through the Eyes of Children. So welcome back, Randy. Welcome back. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chris. Great to be with you. And I really enjoyed talking with you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it too. It's been a great conversation so far. So talk to us. Let's actually start off with the book, since I just mentioned your book called Respect Through the Eyes of Children. I don't have a copy of the book, but I certainly have a copy of the cover page, which I printed off, because the art on this cover page is really lovely and thought-provoking. Talk to us a little bit about the story behind the book, how it came to be. Tell us about that picture on the front and how you chose the content for this book.
Well, this is just my favorite thing because we ask, my firm does this once a year. We hold the annual respect contest for fifth graders in our county. And if anybody listening wants to do this, all you have to do is email me and I'll send you instructions on how to do this contest. But we send letters to all fifth grade teachers in this county through their principals and say, please, in class, take this sheet of paper for each of your students, have them define the word respect, what it means to them, and then draw an illustration showing what you mean. And we get, hundreds and hundreds of entries each year. Then the firm picks the top 3 winners, and we recognize the top 3 winners in the courthouse. We get a courtroom, and we award some cash prizes to their charity of choice, the child's charity of choice, some money to the school, and some sort of gift certificate to the child. And it's a big celebration in the courthouse, and a lot of people show up, and it's a lot of fun. But these entries are fabulous. And we've had thousands over the years, thousands of entries. And what I've done is taken the 66 best entries and put them in this book. And it's a great little coffee table book. It's great for children to read. And I think it's fun for parents and grandparents to read. So anybody who would like a copy, you can get a hardback or a soft cover. Go to Amazon, look for Respect Through the Eyes of Children by me, Randy Kinnard. And then any proceeds from the sale of these books go to some of the charities I support, legal aid mostly, any of those proceeds. So how did that contest start? Well, it started years ago, maybe 12 years ago, when I started giving a speech to lawyers called Respect. And I was asked to speak to a lot of trial lawyer associations across the country. And I was traveling, a lot around the country giving this speech, 1 hour presentation. And essentially the speech is about not letting anger get in your way, but always respecting your opponent, your client, the judge and jury, and yourself. And your opponent means the defendant also for those who do plaintiff work, or if you're on the other side, respecting the plaintiff. And you don't have to be mean and angry and be a bully to be successful. You can succeed with respect. And I sense, as this was before the civility crisis we're in now, we've been in the last couple of decades going down in this country with civility. We just aren't living up to what we used to do. And I said, I'd like to see if fifth graders even understand what the word means. Have they been taught that by fifth grade? And I'd also like to encourage them to be respectful, just in my community. And these entries show that fifth graders do understand what respect is. And they're so smart about it. And the cover on this book is a man's filling his car up with gas. And it's a respect gas tank. He had the analogy or metaphor that respect is the fuel that fuels your life. And his car is the life vehicle. I said, that deserves to be on the cover. Look,
yeah, it's so good. It's so good. And I haven't read the book, but I read there's some very, very positive reviews of the book on Amazon. And one of them I just wanted to read to everybody listening to encourage them to buy this book. The review says, a perfect gift for someone that has shown you great respect, someone that you respect, or someone that you care enough to want to pass on the importance of respect. It will be a treasure in your home for generations to come.
No, that's a good one.
That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Oh.
So congratulations on that. I think this book will reverberate, hopefully, for many, many years to come and with many, many people. I mean, I don't know you personally, Randy. We just met even just over Zoom today, but I have to say, I love that about you. I love the influence of respect obviously in your life, your respect for your mama, your respect for your career and all the people that you work with. And I just want to thank you for that and for sharing that within your community.
Oh, thank you, Chris. That's very nice. Thank you.
So talk to us about, I mean, you're a busy guy. You've got lots going on. What do you do when you're not busy lawyering?
Oh, well, I like to decompress from lawyering. There's a lot of stress in our work, right?
Right.
And the stakes are high. And so I am lucky to be blessed with health, although I've had close calls in life, both in Vietnam and since, some close calls, but I'm still healthy. And I love to hike, fish, play golf, exercise 6 days a week. I try to get in an hour a day, and 1 day a week go for 2 hours with pretty hard aerobics of some type, hiking usually, because you get to see nature. I love the outdoors. I love the West, Teton Mountains, for example, hiking. I like reading history. World War II especially is interesting to me. And poetry is, I love poetry. So, and I love a great movie. I watched Coda last night. Coda, about a young 17-year-old girl who is the only person in her family who can hear. It's a great story. It's a feel-good story. So I love a good movie. And I'd like to give back to the community. We have a park system that's fantastic in Nashville. I'm on the board of that. I believe in legal aid. Centerstone, like you said, mental health outfit. And Prevent Child Abuse Tennessee is significant, trying to help prevent child abuse, which is a huge problem everywhere. So I try to be busy as I can and give back after all the blessings I've had, and after I survived Vietnam, and many of my friends didn't. So I guess you look back and I'm a lucky man.
Mm. Well, thanks for all you're doing, all of that good work, both inside and outside of your profession. Thank you so much. So if you hadn't been an attorney, what career path would you have chosen?
Oh, without question, because I was a West Point graduate, I would have been an Army officer.
Mm.
Absolutely. Some of my heroes in life are, as you can see, I have a photograph of George Patton on my wall behind me.
I do see that, yes.
He was a hero, and I loved the challenge of leading soldiers in combat. I loved trying to keep them from getting hurt or dying. It didn't always work, but I know I saved some lives. But beyond that stage, that was as a young lieutenant and an early captain, those hard experiences in combat. But I wanted to be a career officer. And then something happened. We don't need to go into that, but something happened that I decided I'd get out of the military. And other classmates stayed in. The majority of my classmates got out, largely due to issues we perceived in the Vietnam era, which, as you know, was not a good time. And so I and the majority of my classmates got out. Those that stayed in, I appreciate them so much. We had several become 4-star generals. I would have liked to have done that and exercise leadership. But I can tell you for years, and still to this day, if I'm on a golf course and a C-130 airplane flies over, or another type aircraft like that I used to jump out of with my men, I get just kind of weepy-eyed when that happens. I miss that. I'll stop and I just watch that plane and go, God, I wish I was with them again.
Mm.
So I miss that.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Not many people have such a ready answer for that question. So I can tell that's pretty close to your heart.
Oh, yeah. I have a story about leadership that could apply to a lawyering. And it was, lawyers think they are very good, and they should be, optimistic about what's going on and have a certain ego. You have to have an ego to do this kind of work on either side. But as a brand new second lieutenant, I thought I was pretty sharp. Okay, I was West Point and airborne ranger and all this stuff. I go to Vietnam, and we're in the monsoon where it rained nonstop for 30 days. It rained so heavily, they couldn't see us to resupply us. They didn't know where we were. And helicopters couldn't fly in the rain. So they said, if you want to eat, we were out of food for about a week. They said, if you want to eat, you've got to hump it, it's called, with your 80-pound rucksack, 10,000 meters to the base of a mountain, and then go up the mountain. We can see the mountaintop and we can meet you there. So we're going and going and going, out of energy. Morale is horrible. We get to the base of the mountain, and Private Kokonowski in front of me falls on the ground when we get to the base of the mountain, and starts bawling, just crying his eyes out. Now I'm going to exercise my leadership, right? I said, Kokonowski, what are you doing? He goes, I can't take another step. I said, well, what would your girlfriend think? And he said, I don't have one. Well, what would your parents think? They're dead. I'm running out of options. I go, well, if you don't get up that mountain, we're going to court-martial you. He said, I don't care. Well, the first sergeant, 44 years old, is watching all this, and he walks past me, winks at me, and goes, Kokonowski, give me your gun. He goes, what do you want my gun for, Top? He says, we're going to go up that mountain without you. And when the Viet Cong gets you, I don't want them to get your gun, too. And he goes, I'll make it, Top. he ran up that mountain. And the first sergeant looked at me and said, you won't find that in your leadership manual, Lieutenant.
Right? The threat of death by the Viet Cong. Oh, gosh. That's a good lesson.
That's the day I had to eat some humble pie. And in law, we don't know everything, and it's good to listen to other people. It's help when we maybe not even know we need it, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think all of us find that, even, you know, getting older, it's like you think you'd know more and more, but some days I feel like I just know less and less and less. I don't have anything figured out, nothing.
Oh, that's reached a level of great competence to understand that.
I know. So, who has been a really important influence on your life, real or otherwise, and why?
Oh, well, the first thought is my grandfather, who I come from a large family. And for some reason, he decided I had potential. And it seemed nobody else particularly thought I had any potential. He nurtured me a lot and guided me. And so when I make it to heaven, I swear, I think the first person I'm going to see in line is my grandfather. And another person was my mother and my father. They were influential, of course, but another character, not a person, but Thumper in the movie Band.
Yeah. Dying to hear where this is going.
Thumper's about to say something bad about somebody. I don't remember.
Right.
And I think Thumper's mother says to him, she goes, Thumper, remember what your father said? He goes, what? If you don't have nothing nice to say, then don't say nothing at all.
Right.
And I went,
good advice.
Whoa. For some reason, that has stuck with me. I'm a pretty quiet person when everybody else is letting loose with some criticisms. And, you know, I'm just kind of like Thumper.
Well, that's good. An unlikely hero, but I mean, that's a statement that we all know. And our moms have all said that to us at different times. If you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all.
Yeah. It's hard to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes it is. So knowing what you know now, what advice would you have given your younger self?
Oh, to myself?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, me. Oh, to my younger self, I feel like Morgan Freeman in Shawshank Redemption, when he's up for parole after spending eons in jail for murdering somebody. And he said, what do you say? What do you say? He said, I'd like to go back and tell that young man, that stupid young man, don't do that. So it's a foolish thing to even think about, but I can't go back. Well, I'd say to my younger self, don't take things so seriously. Relax a little more. prepare your case, but don't over prepare it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it's not going to be perfect anyway, but quit fretting about it being so perfect. And I'd say to myself, enjoy your friends more than you're enjoying them right now, you know, and go to church a little more. I don't think you can go to church enough, but.
That's good advice for all of us, I'd say. Just be a good person and enjoy your life. And what would you, what advice would you give to brand new attorneys that are just starting out?
Okay, it can be a cruel appearing world, especially when you think the other side is doing something really stupid or aggravating, unnecessary. It can be the plaintiff side, it can be the defense side. And learn to pause if you get an email that angers you or somebody says something at a deposition that angers you. Pause and stop and take 3 deep breaths before you do anything. And learn to control your anger more. This was a real challenge for me, Chris, because I had huge survivor guilt after Vietnam, huge. And by luck, I ended up getting some counseling. It was just by luck that it happened. In fact, I'd hit a golf ball, a horrible golf shot at Sea Island, Georgia, over into a palmetto grove, and was all angry about this shot. 10 years after Vietnam or so, I was a practicing lawyer, and I went into the palmetto grove, and I was inside a small cemetery, and it had old graves in it back to the 1800s on this plantation, old plantation. And my ball had come to rest at the foot of the grave of Sam Proctor, who had served in my unit in Vietnam and was killed in Vietnam. Well, I choke up every time I think about this, okay? And I just fell down on the ground and just wept and realized I had issues. I didn't know what the issues were, but I said, I had issues. And I got some counseling. And this psychiatrist said, your problem is survivor guilt. And she helped me figure that out and get me through it and gave me techniques on how to deal with anger. And so in a deposition, if I feel the other lawyer is really being unfair or doing something way out of bounds, instead of blowing up and screaming out something bad, I'll pause. And lawyers have learned when Randy pauses, look out, you have done something. There's this pause, and I hold my hand up because I can't speak. I'm so angry, I can't speak. I hold my hand up like stop. Then I breathe, and I've been known to say, what I'd like us to do now is for you and me to go out in the hall. I don't want to fight. I want to go out in the hall and I want to talk to you. And we'll go out in the hall and I'll say, okay, you've made me mad. I'm okay now. I've taken my breaths. Why are you asking this? You know, this person doesn't know the answer. You're harassing this person from my perspective. So why are you doing this? And usually we'll work out the problem. And I can be, in this process, be respectful, and the other lawyer can be respectful, and it makes us both feel better. So I'd say to young lawyers, be respectful. Do all you can to be respectful, even when the other person may not deserve it. And make good friends with your opponents if you can. Some you cannot, because it's a sign of weakness to some of them. say please and thank you even to your opponent, and enjoy the practice of law more. That's what I'd say.
That's some good advice. And I just want to back up and say congratulations to you on getting help and counseling that you needed for your survivor guilt. You'd have been a very different person. You've been a very different lawyer, and probably with very different outcomes if that hadn't changed in your life. So congratulations on doing the incredibly hard work that we all know it takes to overcome very traumatic life events. It's no small thing.
I was so lucky. I actually believe I had a guardian angel on my shoulder when I hit this horrible golf shot, and she or he whispered in my ear, "You're going to hate this golf shot, but you're going to really like it later when you go through.
Right?
You're going to have to go through."
Took you right to your buddy's grave.
Yeah,
like, isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing?
I was lucky.
Yeah. Amazing things in life, huh?
Yeah.
So last question. Again, we could talk forever, but I'm being respectful of your time. You're a busy guy. What is it that people... Now, let me ask you two more questions. You're in a tough job and you've had a life that's had some significant challenges along the way. What keeps getting you up every morning?
I think gratitude, mostly. If you're in a trial or something else is going on with a lot of stress and you're exhausted, it's hard to get up sometimes. I mean, it's physically hard to get up. And I'm grateful for what I'm doing. And even if I'm not voluntarily thinking about being grateful, I kind of force myself, be grateful. This is a new day. It's a new day, and there are problems to be solved. And I try to look at problems a little differently today. Like, you're not going to be around forever to solve these problems. And so go solve these today and have a good time doing it. So that's kind of what keeps me going. Physically, it's if you want to keep moving, keep moving.
Keep moving. That's right. And it looks good on you. You look healthy. You look healthy and bright-eyed and clear-skinned and energetic, and you're looking really good.
Chris, you're the good-looking one. I mean, you're the
Thanks, Randy. So last question. What is it that people often get wrong about you?
Well, some people have to think he's an introvert and he's not kind of coming out and telling me something. And it may be true. I don't know, but I like to listen to other people more than I like talking. I really do. And an example comes to mind. I was at a reunion with college classmates, and I had to sit next to this wife of one of my classmates, and it was fine. But for 3 hours, she talked nonstop about herself. I swear, she never asked one about me. I swear, never one. Of course, I'm kind of egging her on because I'm asking, but I was genuinely interested. But I just noticed at the end of the evening, she talked about herself. So the next night, we go to another dinner with the same classmates. And I end up sitting next to this same woman.
No.
And you know what she said, Chris? She sat down and she said, "Randy, now last night, all I did was talk about myself. And tonight, I want to hear all about what you learned about me."
So only slightly less self-centered. Oh, man. Because you're an excellent conversationalist. It's interesting that whoever sat down beside you wouldn't just pick your brain. So you think people think you're an introvert, but you're not? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
a lot of people take my sort of silence, as well, he's introverted.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You're just a good listener.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I do learn a lot more listening. I think we do learn more that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, I want to just say thank you once again for this conversation and for your open and honest sharing of parts and corners of your life. I just get an overall sense of integrity and respect and a kindness from you, which I very, very, very much appreciated spending this couple of hours with you. So thank you so very much. For those of you that are listening, if you haven't heard the longer podcast by Randy Kinnard, don't miss it. It's got some great stuff in it. And this is our first podcast back in the fall of 2021. And I think it's been a great one, Randy. So thank you so much.
Oh, Chris, you've been too kind. Thank you. You're a great interviewer, and it's been a lot of fun. And I just thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Take care.
You too.